Hello everyone, welcome to Ops on Cloud. In this specific video, right, let's try to do a real-time hands-on shell scripting project. Okay, so what is the intention behind creating this specific project? You see, whenever I conduct interviews, right, especially even for like senior level interviews, more than 8 years, 9 years of experience candidate interviews. When I asked them to explain about what was the most recent shell scripting project or task that they have developed, right? Most of them will not be able to answer that. And also, if you are somebody who are at entry level and you are applying for jobs, and I know like most of the people try to showcase some amount of experience, like people who are in a different domain want to enter IT, and then like basically you don't have any projects and you will not be explaining clearly in the interview, even though you are, uh, putting lot of efforts. Okay, just learning simple commands day and night, and if you have not done any actual work, right, it doesn't make any sense. So keeping that in mind, and I already know that there are a lot of shell scripting tutorials for beginner level. I would say beginner level experience, whatever. I mean, like if you want to learn or something, right? There are already so many tutorials which is there. So I thought of making a project which might help the community. All right. So what is the use case for this specific project? Let's say to discuss about that. Okay. Usually, what happens is when you work with a larger project, right? For example, when you work with a banking project with a lot of microservices, okay, and sometimes when you work with, especially with automotive projects, the code base they basically work on like mono repo strategies. Most of the automotive companies, and the code base size itself will be like more than 10 GB, 15 GB. So that is the amount of size they will have. So in such kind of projects, right, the biggest challenge is when developers are working, there might be a lot of jar files or zip files within the repository, and they want to know if there is any specific file that is present. And let's assume if you are a developer, if you are a DevOps engineer, and you are trying to build an application on your local, and in one shot you just want to make sure that all the jar files are having a specific file or not, or else you want to search only for a specific file. Okay, and you want to know in which all path it is there, maybe you want to delete them, all these things. Okay, so because of that, let's assume your company has asked you to develop a tool. Okay, so basically they need a tool. When I say tool, right, it doesn't have to be a software or something. Even a script also you can consider as a tool. Okay, tool means it's a script or it's a piece of code which helps you to do a task in a much more efficient way. So in interviews, if they ask like basically what was the most recent, like shell scripting activity you have done, you can simply say that yes, I have worked on a task where I built a tooling kind of thing with the help of shell scripts. So the intention of this tooling is to act like a magnifying glass. So we had lot of jar files, zip files, and all. So we wanted to make search inside these jar and zip files without even extracting them or going and doing these things manually. Okay, that is where I wanted a tool. A tooling kind of thing. For that, I have created a shell script. Okay, I built a tooling with a shell script. You can simply tell like that. Okay, so now this is the why part of this project. Okay, now what are the other aspects we are supposed to focus on? See, when you work with enterprise level application, right, it's not just about you writing the script and it simply works. Okay, if you do that way, it won't work like that. Okay, because there are projects where multiple people will be working, and there is no guarantee that you will stay in the same company forever. And even after when you are not there in the project, right, if somebody else is taking over your responsibility, even they should be able to use these scripts easily. Okay, so because of that, we should make sure that we have enough comments that will be added in these scripts. That is one thing. And the second thing is how modular your scripts are. What is the what kind of coding standards that you are trying to follow? That is also one of the important things. And creating a help function. Why do you need a help function? Somebody who doesn't know what his script does, he just want to use it, right? I mean, you have written the script, but the actual execution of the script can be done by somebody else. So he can't remember everything. So he needs a help feature. So that simply he should be able to do hyphen hyphen help, and he can basically understand what are the parameters that he can pass. So these are some of the things which should be considered. And also, if there is any error, how the script handles these errors. Okay, what kind of output you get, which is error handling. Okay, these are some of the primary factors. Okay, that we are always supposed to follow when we write a script. All right, if you follow these things, right, basically in any organizations you can easily survive and you can easily do a very great job. All right, so we'll try to focus on industry standards. I mean, like I'll try to focus on when we build these scripts, right, let's try to focus on building it in a most real time way. So basically, if you go and work in any companies, you can simply build the scripts in the exact same way that you will be learning here. Okay, and if you are trying to showcase more than 3 4 years of work experience, right, if you don't have any experience, or if you have not done, because sometimes what happens is it's not necessary that you will have to do shell script in the specific job, but when you enter the job market, it's always a requirement, right? So my recommendation is, uh, do build this shell script side by side. So what I would suggest is play this video, okay, and then parallelly you build this shell script side by side. In this way, what happens is you will get a good experience. So for somebody who is completely new to shell script itself, right, I would highly recommend you try to go back to any other lectures and try to understand the basics of shell scripts before even entering here, because this script, whatever this project, whatever we are I am doing here, right, it's no way a beginner level project. Okay, at least you should know basics of shell script. Only then when you enter this project you can easily understand. If you already know basics of shell scripting, the basic commands, then I would recommend start with it. If you are not able to understand, I'll try to elaborate each and every command that I use as much as possible. But just in case, if I'm not covering anything, right, there are two things which you can do. One is use the comment section of this video, mention in the comment section. I will make sure that whenever I am free, I will respond for your comments with the right answers or the right approach. That is one way. And the second way is use ChatGPT. In every video, I am suggesting ChatGPT. The reason behind that is, at this point of time, we should definitely use generative AI technology, okay, to fasten the process of our work. Okay, it won't replace the work what we do, okay, but we can use it to understand and increase the speed of the delivery. That is where generative AI technologies comes into picture, and we need to leverage, we need to learn to use these things. Okay, so enough of talking, let's start with the actual work now. Okay, so I have already created the folder structure. Let's try to understand the folder structure. See, this is a readme file. See, this is how you should also learn to build a readme file. Okay, it's very important. Any project, any script, before delivering it to your manager or before delivering, before raising a PR, make sure that there is a document. That's a professional way. Okay, and try to. I mean, like, you don't have to cover each and everything in this document. Whatever is possible, you please try to cover it in the document. All right. And then I have created a test directory. See, this is a test directory. The only reason that is just for finding it out. You have a lib.docs, and we have the same directory I have just created as zip. So at the end, when we run these scripts, right, you can even keep a jar file or zip file. In both scenarios, these scripts will work. So basically, what you are supposed to do is when we run it, it should basically identify this path and it should give us in the output. That's it. Okay, wherever it is there, it will basically give us. All right. So let's start. So this is the folder structure, and this is the where we will. I mean, this is a place where we will start writing our scripts. So for people who are already aware of shell scripts, what is the first line of your shell script? the shebang, right? So let's try to start with that. Hash telemetry slash USR slash bin slash env space bash. I always prefer working with the bash because I'm used to it. So basically what this line will do is it will just tells the operating systems, okay, to execute this specific script using bash shell, okay, using bash shell, okay, and uh, it is basically installed on the user's environment, okay, and there is no need of any hard-coded path or something like that for this specific activity. All right. So in Linux, there are a lot of different types of shell. Bash is there, sh is there, zsh is there. So basically, you can define which shell your script should pick. So in my case, I wanted to pick bash. All right. So and in the next what we are supposed to do, okay, we need some kind of strict error handling, okay. So what are the things which we are supposed to consider while implementing error handling? That is, I want to exit immediately if any command returns a non-zero exit status. What is a non-zero exit status? If something is not successful, then it is considered as non-zero exit status, okay. And also, if there is any errors inherently, for example, if there is any command substitute or if any command that is executed in a subshell environment, right, so even if there is an error, we need to catch it, okay. And also, if there are any variables I mean, like if there is any unset variable errors or yeah, if there is any unset variables, right, even then we will get some error, so we need to handle that, right. So we should basically keep all these things, and I should also make sure that this will return an exit status for the last command that has failed, okay, because I should know, right, whether the previous command has also executed properly or not, all these things. So what is the, I mean, like shell command for that? So we have something called as set. All right, I will use a set. Along with set hyphen e, the small e means it is exit immediately, okay, and capital E, which means that it is it, if there are any traps errors, right, we call it as trap errors, okay, catch that. And also u, and then u means if there is any unbounded variable as an error, something like that, right, so then the script should exit immediately. So because of that, u, and then I need one more attribute, which is o. So now what it does it, as I already mentioned, it is for the previous command status. All right. So once I capture these things, okay, I did basic level of error handling here. Still, there are a lot of other things that we are supposed to do. The second thing is we need to focus on, I mean, like I need a read-only variable. Okay. For example, I need to get the file name of the script by itself. Okay. So that we can strip out any leading paths. For example, if the scripts run in this specific path, right, and uh, and whatever the variable I need to capture, right, I need to capture the specific file name which is actually executing. In this case, find in jars. So for that, what I'll do is read only space program is equal to, and then dollar, okay, to catch that. See, these things actually, even I don't recall these things. Actually, I have already prepared these commands. I'm just trying to explain you on the fly so that we can save some amount of time. Okay, but it's not necessary that you'll have to remember. It's just that you'll try to, you'll simply have to, I mean, like know how to use Google. Okay, so basically, I use Google a lot personally, and from there only I get these commands and I use it. But I know the underlying logic that I'm supposed to follow. All right. So similarly, when you are also supposed to do the same way. So what is it? Zero hash and then hash string slash. So what does this mean, right? See, this dollar zero, whatever is there, right? In bash script, the variable dollar zero is there, right? Basically, if you want to capture the full path, okay, which is used to execute the script, right? For example, in my case, this find in jar.sh is a script. So what dollar zero would do is it will try to capture the full path until this find in jars. Okay, and similarly, the double hash whatever is there, right? That is also a bash parameter. Basically, it's like expansion syntax that will remove the longest match, okay, of this specific pattern. For example, in our case, right, # slash means everything up to this forward slash, okay, or any path is there, right, with the slash. Till then, we will get it. Okay, so because of that, this program, whatever is there, right, this program prog variable, whatever we have configured, okay, it would get only the file name. It will get only the file name without the full path. So simply to simplify it, what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to get only the file name by stripping the full path. That's all I'm trying to do here. Okay. Next, what do we need? Next, basically, we need to version control these scripts, right? So if I'm doing any changes, I need to track like what version of the script is being used. Okay. So for example, like now I will set this version as one or something. Okay. So for that, read only proj underscore version. Okay. Is equal to, so now what we will try to do is we'll try to set one dot x dot hyphen x hyphen dev. We'll keep something like this. Okay. So in this way, we know what is the version of the script that we have created. And then, uh, see, basically by default, what happens is bash is there, right? We might get the errors or the terminal colors in same way. Okay. Until and unless explicitly it is identifying that as an error. So basically for escape related activities, right? Okay, I need to reset the terminal color, okay, to the default or something like that. Okay, so this is just a optimization which I am trying to do. Okay, so what this command will do? Okay, so let's assume you are trying to print a text. Okay, in the color when you try to print any text in this color, right? So and if you append with this specific string which is color reset string, right, after the text, right, so what happens is that will switch back to its default text color in the terminal. So because of this, what happens, your terminal output whatever is there, it will be very clean. That's all. So basically, like, if you want to understand this in detail, right, I can give a quick example as well. See, um let's assume in the output you have test 1. Okay, let's assume you have in the output you have error. Okay, and then now what happens is what you are trying to instruct is when error will display in red bold color, right? In the next line when it display, you just want the terminal to come back to its original mode. In this way, what happens is, so basically when you work with the huge amount of logs and all, right, when the scripts will emit huge amount of logs or lot of output, it becomes very easy for you to debugging. That is the whole intention of adding this specific color reset attribute. See, let's further beautify this script. How can we do that? Okay, let's assume you are running this script on a terminal which has like 100 column width. Okay, so now I want to use all these 100 columns, but let's assume if the output is redirected to some log file or something like that, then I want to bring back to a standard 80 columns by default. Okay. In this way, there are two things which will happen. One is If somebody is trying to put it into the log file or something like that, right? It will simply pick the default value, okay, whatever is 80 or whatever, okay. But if we want to see it on the terminal, right, in that specific scenario, I am trying to use the complete width, okay, which gives me the complete detailed information for me to do the debugging, right? It becomes very easy. Okay, so for that, what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to use this specific command hyphen t. Okay, and to so what this will do is it will check. Okay, uh, to the connected terminal basically. So it's like we call it as file descriptor. If it is true, there, if it is true, right, the script will know it's running in a terminal. If it is false, right, it means that the output has been redirected to, I mean, like any other program or any file, log file or something like that. That is the use of this one. And now I will use ampersand, and I also want to check the columns, right? So for that, what I will do is co dollar, and then okay. So now here, so STTY is there, right? That is basically the STTY size is there, right? That will basically get the terminal's size. So basically, it will get us information about the number of columns. All right. So now what we are supposed to do is STTY size, and then what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to use AWK, okay, and store it in the columns. So for that, 5k, and then later print $2, okay, and then if this is not matching, then what am I supposed to do? Okay, that is where I need to set it back to default, right? So for that, what I will do is or columns, right, is equal to 80. Done deal. Okay. So basically now I want a function which should print message in red text to the terminal. Okay. So if the output is being sent okay to the terminal, right, which is our screen, okay, then it will should print in red color. But let's assume if the output is being sent to a log file, then I want it to be in normal, I mean like without any color codes. Okay, let's try to build a I mean like function for that. How do you write a function? This is how: red print, I mean like to check the output, what was the command we used before? Hyphen t2. Now we need hyphen t1, so that we can check if the hd out is there, right, it is connected to the terminal. That is what it will do, hyphen t1. Okay, and then if it is true, then the output is going directly to the terminal. If it is false, then it is being redirected. So now if it is true, right, then what should happen? Then we need to print in red color, right? Guys, nobody can remember these things. Okay, it's not possible. All right. So basically, I have noted these comments and I'm simply copy pasting these kind of, I mean, like Linux commands. Okay. So basically, now let's further beautify it again. Okay. See, I'm adding too much of beautification, all these things in the script, so that I'm just trying to add as much as experience as possible, so that like you guys can practice it very well. But it's not necessary that you will use all these things. Okay, it's just a perspective to build that perspective. Okay, So for that, what we can do is we'll use read only, and then line hyphen clear. Okay, so now what I'll do is, so what this one will do is basically, if you have noticed when you exit some shell scripts and all that, it will give you a progression bar kind of thing, like it's in progress, like 1 out of 2, 2 out of 4, like that, right? Or sometimes hash in percentage wise also it will show. This specific, uh, I mean like activity or command is there, right? It will do the same job for us. All right. I mean like when somebody will run your script, right, it will show that professionalism, I would say. Okay, that is what this command will do basically. A function to so that basically we need to display the message on the terminal, okay, without having any cluttered output. And I want it to dynamically clear. I should make sure that it will rewrite the messages in the same terminal. Okay, and we should also make sure that we will truncate the messages to the width of the terminal. Keeping all these things in considerations, let's create a method. For that, what I'll do is print responsive message. This is the method I'm going to create. Okay. So now inside this specific method, right? So so basically what I'm supposed to do is, if the responsive messages are displayed, okay, then I just simply want to return uh, nothing or do nothing and return immediately. So for that, if not, we need to check, right? For that, not hyphen t2. Okay, I've already explained about this t2 multiple times now. I'm sure like you'll be aware of it. Then okay, return. Okay, all right. Then we need to make sure that we will clear the current line and we'll print the messages, and we need to truncate to the terminal. So for that, print this percentage yes and 2. Okay, so all these things are done. Okay, so basically this method will handle all those things, okay, that we discussed. So now similarly, I want to clear any temporary status messages, okay, which were previously printed, and then I need to handle this erase scenarios also. Okay, so these line erase scenarios are there, right? Even those things I will have to handle it. So for that, I'll create a separate method message clear responsive message, and then if not dollar show responsive, or again return 5, print dollar percentage b and dollar and clear. So now basically we need one more method, and this functionality whatever is there, right? So basically I need to handle errors and I need to think about exiting the script gracefully. Okay. We need to make sure that all the outputs are there, right? They are redirected to stdr. Okay. And we need to standardize the error handling part. Okay. And we need to think about providing helpful messages, all these things. All right. This is the focus area now. Let's try to build it. So what is the purpose of this method? So we need to handle the scripts, displaying the error messages, and we need to provide some suggestions. Okay. For help. I mean, like if possible. Okay. And for any specific status code, we need to, I mean, like simply take necessary action or exit. Okay. That is what like we are trying to do. So let's create a functionality for that. All right. And this functionality is called as die functionality. Okay. I'm just keeping a funny name. So we need a local variable for controlling this help prompt. Local. So basically, this one is there, right? We are going to loop through all the provided arguments. Okay, that is what this dollar hash means. It means number of arguments that will be provided. Okay, and then inside this while, right? We'll go inside this file case $1. This should be like this in okay hyphen h. Okay, so I will try to basically if hyphen h is passed, we need to set the prompt help to true so that we can suggest help after the error messages. Okay, and also shift is there, right? That will remove hyphen h argument from the list. That is what shift is used for. All right. If hyphen es is passed, basically what happens is this will set the exit status to the value of the next argument, which is $2. Okay, and again shift here will remove hyphen es and whatever the associated value is there, right, from the list. Okay, that is what hyphen s is used for. And now hashtag. Okay. So now here, what we are trying to do is, in this part, in the last part, we are just basically stopping the argument. Okay. And if there is no argument provided or something like that, right, we need to stop the argument by providing an error message or something like that. Okay. For that specific activity, we are using it. Okay. And now we have the method that we have created. Okay. Basically, we need to clear any in responsive messages, right? Okay. For that, we have already created a method for that so that we can clean the error messages, okay, without any interference. Okay. So for that, what is the method we created? Clear responsive messages. See, now this is how the reusability comes into picture. Try to understand. See, we are able to reuse the same method in multiple places. And then what I'm supposed to do is, if there are any arguments, sorry, if there are any remaining arguments, okay, that is printed in red color, right? Okay, so we need to handle that one as well. So, okay, so basically, if there is any remaining arguments, so it will print them in red as the error message. And then we need one more thing. If hyphen h option was passed, okay, we need to suggest this I mean, like, we need to suggest, right, provide like hyphen help for more information, like that, right? So for that suggestion message also, we will try to handle it. So for that, dollar descript with a specified error code. Okay, so for that, exit. And now, see, basically we have handled that part. You know, we need a function to display the usage, right? Whatever the help instructions we are trying to provide, we need that usage function. So that is something which we will try to create it now. All right. Basically here, what this usage program will do is, I mean, like, it acts like a helper kind of thing. It will tell the users of the script how to basically use the script or run the scripts. For example, like what hyphen d means, what hyphen e means, right? So it will give you the complete information about all these things. All right. And also, if you see this usage functions, right, we have also defined the exit. Okay, exit means what it will do is, so basically it will terminate the scripts. So after displaying whatever the help message, right, okay, it will make sure that the script will not continue with the execution part, and whatever comes between this eof and defof is there, right? So basically, if you want to display something, that is where this eof comes into picture. Okay, and also we need to show the users like which version of the script we are trying to use. That is where this one more function that I have created, that will print the script, and basically the version, all those things will be given here. Okay, this is the usage of these two methods. All right, now let's go to the next part of the script. Let's start defining all the requirements. Okay, so now what we need an array to store all the directory specific informations. Okay, we need one or I mean, like, we need an array so that we can store one or more directories. Okay, where this script should search for, right? For that, I'll define an array. And then what else we need? We need to store the extensions as well. For that, we need a separate array. Okay, and then what else we need? We need an array to hold this non-optional arguments. Okay, for the search patterns, all those things, right? For that, Oryx. And then we need a separator, okay, character, okay, because we'll be using it in multiple places, so that we can. So what we can do is, uh, when we are displaying it, we can basically clearly separate it out. It becomes easy for, I mean, like the users of the script to understand the output. That's it. Okay, and then we need the regular expression mode. Okay, it default we want to keep it as extended for that. Okay, and what else is there? Think about it. Hmm, we need a flag to use whether we want to get like absolute file path or just a file path in the result. So use underscore, and then we also need a flag to establish or display this printing of these messages. So show responsive. This is totally up to users, right? Like if you want, you can keep it, or else you can turn it false. We are simply giving those functionality. See here, you just have to think, okay, in such a way that we are just trying to create an option where, I mean, we are trying to enable an option where the end users of this script are there, right? Easily they should be able to turn on and turn off these functionality whenever they need based on their requirement. We are giving such capabilities. In real time, it can be a different thing, different functionality in your projects. Okay, so here just we are trying to keep it. See now here what we are trying to do is in this specific method, this while loop, whatever is there, right? So I mean like here we need to loop through all the command line arguments. Okay, so because of that we have created like this. All right, so hyphen d means it will store all the specified directories in the dirs, and hyphen ve will store the extensions, and this is for the regular expressions. And hyphen I means, I mean like ignore case in the sense, see, there might be a file in some cases, it might start with capital L. In some cases, it might start with small l. Irrespective of that case sensitivity you want to search, you can provide that. And if you want to use the absolute path, of the path which you have already discussed, right? If you want to use the absolute path, right? So you can use that in the results with these at variable strings. And this is the separator. Okay, so you can use any separator of your choice. You can simply add it. Okay, and hyphen h, it is for the help functionality. Hyphen v is to check the version of the scripts. Okay, and yeah, so this double hash means, like as I have already mentioned here, double hash means, as I have already mentioned here, it is for the remaining positional arguments. If you are providing any, I mean like unknown options or the something like that, right? Then it will be handled through here. Okay, so and if any pattern it does not match, okay, again this will be treated as a positional arguments and handled. Okay, so this is the whole purpose of handling this while loop again, so that we can loop through all the conditions. And then what we need is, we need to check if the directory is empty. If it is empty, we need to default it to the current directory itself, right? So that is something which we need to do. If the directory argument is empty, then it should be picking as the current directory. Okay, if somebody is not providing any directories, so that is what those conditions we will handle. One, two, at the rate, then dot. Okay. And then what else is there? We same thing similarly. If there is no extensions were provided, right? Then we need to default it to searching like .jar files. Okay. For that, we will add a condition. And then if no search pattern is provided, right? Even that should be had handled. Like we should get no pattern provided or something. So if and let's go to args. Okay. And once I get this, then what should happen? Then I need to call the die method, and then so I am from Python background basically. So because of that, I might use method, functions, all these things, but the underlying concept remains the same. Turn provided, and if I okay, and then we need to assign the first argument to the search pattern. So for that, see basically now we need a function, okay, which will basically determine which command is available on our system to the list. Okay, like zip or jar files. Okay, so we need to detect that. So basically, we need to detect if there is any appropriate commands for the list entries, and we need to set the commands in them in basically in the list kind of thing, in the variable. Okay, so that we can use it in other parts of the script. All right. So for that, we need a helper function which will check, right, which command is available to the list of contents for zip or jar files, so that we can use it. I mean, like we have zip info, unzip, jar, all these things are there, right? So that basically we can go and do the actual search activities, right? So I mean, like when you want to search inside them, right? So you need to know. So for example, if it is jar, then you need jar attributes. If it is zip, you need zip attributes. All these things are there. So we need to get those things, right? So that is what we are supposed to do now. See, basically this is a function. So what this function will do is, okay, it will check if hyphen v sorry, it will check if the zip info command is available in the system, and then it will redirect the outputs and the errors to slash dev slash null. Okay, and then same thing applies to the other one, unzip as well. All right, Even in unzip also, it will check if unzip command is available. If unzip is available, right, then it will assign it as the command. Okay, and this hyphen z1 whatever is there, right, you are trying to see here. So it will basically output the detailed list to this archived content. Okay, and then you have jar command, which is a Java based I mean like command kind of thing. So that is set to the home variable always. All right, and then from there it will actually pick it up. One important thing is zip and unzip. Okay, it might not be installed in many system by default, so you will have to install it, okay, before executing the script, or else these two will actually not work. All right. So now let me explain the final parts of these scripts. Okay, this method we have already created here. Okay, I'm just calling this method again, and now we need to search jar files. This is the find command. So basically that will help us to search this jar files and .zip files recursively. So if you have multiple folders, right, within all the folders it should be able to search. That is what this will do. And then the second method is we need to list all the entries, right? So basically whatever the archived file are there, right, we need to detect, okay, and we need to list all the entries inside the archive file. So inside the zip, if there is any specific file, we need to identify that. Okay, so to do that we have this method, and similarly we need one for jar files, right? So basically, I mean like if you go ahead and see here, um, whatever the find jar is there, right, even here also we are just trying to list this as a local variable. So what this method will do is it will try to find I mean like based on the regular expressions. So I mean inside the jar file, right, if we want to get what, if there is any specific file matching a specific pattern is there, that is what this specific method will do. That's it. And at the end we are simply trying to list the files in the piped manner. Okay, and so in the end the search jar files will find all the jar or zip files, and then we list all the files in the piped, basically it will be piped to this file find jar files, which will then do the matching part inside the each file. Okay, so that is what we are trying to do here. So overall this script acts like a searching tool. It's a search tool scripts. So what I'll do is I'll try to create. I mean like I'll try. We already have a GitHub repository. Okay. I will add more comments, as much detailed comments as possible in this script, and I will publish it in our GitHub repository of SoundCloud GitHub repository. You can basically go there, watch this video, practice it there. I would highly recommend. Sit in a tight place and do this in one shot. I mean, like, don't try to do it in chunks. It will never happen. Okay. So I hope this was definitely a hard work, guys. I mean, like, I spent actually like more than 2 hours to complete this video. Okay, because I had to think about how can I explain you in the best possible way, because I am already from a technical background, and it's not necessary for me to I mean like think in that way. So I have just gone one step ahead so that I can explain you in the most detailed way possible. Again, I'm repeating, if you have any doubts with respect to the scripts or functionalities, please publish that in the comment section. I'll definitely make sure that I'll respond back. And to test these scripts, all you have to do is I have already added the commands also to test commands. I will add the test commands also here, usage commands, and publish it. So basically, you should be able to do it. All right. So then signing off for the day. See you.